What's up guys, it's your boy Justin and welcome back to another premium tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at a walkbot and how we could make one work, and more specifically one that is based on a user-defined path. So obviously the code from yesterday can be very useful here. So we're actually going to be using the spot markers code to make a walkbot. So I'm just going to make a void in here called walkbot, and we're going to build on top of what we already have and get something going here. So pointer user CMD, and let's go define that in spot markers. Okay, so for testing purposes, I already added this option to my menu, because when you're actually making the path, you obviously don't want to be running your code. So if they don't have the walkbot test enabled, we return. And obviously we want to make sure that we have at least two spots because we need to go from one point to the other and then back and forth, or if there are more, we'll adjust based on that. So I'm going to go ahead and say if spots dot size is less than 2, we're also going to return, and we need to make sure that our player is alive. So or if not local player, or local player is not alive, we're going to return. I think that's pretty much all we're going to need. Now we are going to have a marker, a static int called marker, and this is going to be the current index of the marker that we're on. So this is going to start at 0. I'm going to say something really quickly. You're going to want to start, obviously, in the spawn, based on the map that you're on, and adjust for T or CT side. So if a round ends while your walkbot's running, we're not going to compensate for that in this video, but that's really easy. You could do it based on the round count, or if I were you, what I would do is something along these lines. I would basically say, in your event listeners, so wherever that is, let's just say there's a round start event. You just want to set that to 0. So I'll actually show you how to do it just because it's really easy. You include your spot markers.h file, and then you'd want to have a public. Let's just say, let's just say marker, and marker, and by default that's 0. So we don't really need to define this anymore. Where was I? This doesn't need to exist anymore, nor would it actually need to be static. And we can just say that, well, we actually don't even need a definition. We could just say if the marker is greater than spots.size minus 1, we set it back to 0. So if we get to the last point, we go back to the first point. And then also, when a new round starts, so in fire event client side, round underscore start, down here, we can just say that spot markers marker equals 0. So that obviously we just start back at the beginning. And now back in this code over here, now that we've got that all sorted out, we're going to want to get that marker's position on the map, like the 3-dimensional position. So that's really easy. We'll call it vector target, and it's going to be marker, or actually spots.at marker. So we get that, and now we're gonna aim at it basically. So that will be a Q angle. I'm just gonna call it aim at, and we're gonna calculate the angle between our local player's eye positions. So get eye position and the actual spot on the map, which is now target. Let's go ahead and clamp that and normalize it. And we'll set the pitch to 0. So it looks like, basically looks like we're looking just exactly where we're walking. Not client side, but, you know. Set the view angles to aim at. So that's where our player is now looking. And then we will move in that direction. So set forward move to 450. And we're going to want to detect if we are on that point now, so we know to move to the next point. So I'm just going to say the distance meters function we defined yesterday from our local player origin, right, to the target. And if that value is like less than or equal to about 0.5, it's pretty safe to assume we're like directly on top of it. So we'll just increment the marker. So now what this code is doing is basically making sure we don't go over, like this won't even initially run. This won't run until we get to the last marker. But if the marker is greater than the last marker, so basically we want to go back to the beginning, we just set it to 0. We get the three-dimensional position, we aim at it, and then we move in that direction until we get on top of the next one, in which case we also increment it. And then also when a new round starts, we just set it back to 0. And then what I would do if I were you is on round start, also check what map you're on, or don't check what map you're on because you can do this between map changes using this code over here, but check what side you're on, like if you're on T or CT side, and then make sure you're adjusting the config or the spots based on that. But you get the point. We're going to go ahead and compile this, or let me actually run it somewhere. So create move will include our spot markers code, and I'm just going to run it right after the anti-aim. Can't type today. We'll just run it like right over here. And we'll say spot markers run walkbot rather, and pass CMD. Okay, so now we should have a pretty much fully functional walkbot, and we'll go give it a test. So yeah, like I said, having the code from yesterday, the spot markers code, made this really easy to do. I guess the main issue probably when you're making a walkbot is actually getting the points you want to move to. So there are methods to automatically get those, but I figured I already have the code for the spot markers, so you might as well find some alternative way to use it in case people thought it was useless and they didn't want to mark where their one-ways are. So now you have a separate use for it. That's what I call efficiency. Offline with bots, go into casual game on Dust 2, and we'll just basically try to make it all the way around the map. So before I turn on the walkbot, we're just going to turn on our spot markers, mark some points, and then we'll see what we can do. Kick the bots real quick. I'm just going to toggle third person to a key, and also turn on spot markers on right click. And now we'll go ahead and kind of map our way around here. Don't ask me why I did that. Either way, we'll start right here, go towards long. The more markers, the better. You obviously want to have them pretty much as often as possible to avoid any issues with your player walking. Put one right there. And then obviously you just have a rage bot running with auto stop. I'm gonna skip cat. We'll go right through CT. Out towards B doors. I'm being very picky with where I put these. That should be good, right? Yeah. And then we'll just go right back to the start. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on, and we will see if it works. Right here. Okay, so we can see that our player is working towards the first point. And he's just kind of going around now. So it looks like it's working, but we'll make sure. We'll watch it go all the way around. And then we'll wait until the next round starts, which it's about to in about 30 seconds. And we'll see that it should start again at the first index. But yeah, it wouldn't be too hard to turn this into a fully functional walkbot. It wouldn't take you very long at all. But there has been like an influx in the interest in these lately, so I figured I might as well make a tutorial on it, even though It's not a very hard concept to grasp. Although the auto mapping would be a bit harder. Alright, so now our index is 1, right? So we're going to make sure it starts back at 0. Now it's 2. So if we didn't do the round start thing, it would be targeting that index right now. But you can see, since it got set to 0 again, it's actually just going back to the beginning, and then once again all the way around. So that is how you could make a walkbot using the spot marker code. A lot of potential here, you know what I mean? So have some fun with that. Make sure you like and subscribe for more premium tutorials on premium hacker things. If you watch this video and you're not a pro hacker, please never watch any of my videos ever again. And yeah, peace.